Hello everyone and welcome to Game 3 in a best of 3 series between Mouse Sports' ThorZain versus Evil Genius's Huck here on Metalopolis. We see ThorZain spawning as the red Terran player, meanwhile Huck spawning as the blue Protoss, and very interested to see how this particular game will go down. Game 1 in this best of 3 series going to ThorZain with an impressive Ghost and Marine Marauder medevac bioplay with Vikings in order to take Game 1 in the shipyards. Game 2... Game 2, a very difficult matchup for Huck. Huck played very, very well in Game 2. Apparently, yes, don't smoke, kids, don't smoke. Game 2, Huck was just on the tips of his toes, countering and handling ThorZain every step of the way, but it was a very tight, very close battle. No one had expansions for the first 15 minutes, I think, and it was perhaps one of the strangest matchups I've seen. Apparently, Huck is asking, is this cross spots only? ThorZain saying no, but it actually is cross spots only. You cannot have an ally spawn here. So perhaps he was wondering if it was only a vertical cross spawn, but I think he really meant to say that there really is no ally spawn whatsoever. Probe going to quickly come up here, and it looks like Huck will be able to scout out this location in just a moment. And it doesn't really matter, as he does choose the correct scouting order in order to try to find his opponent. Interestingly enough, ThorZain not going for a refinery once again, so he may be going into his very, very fast expansion attempt once more, but ThorZain has been scouted out. All Huck needs to do is come over here, take a look, sees that there is no gas, and then realize that a Marine's going to be trained, upgrade to an orbital command, and in just a little bit, a command center will be started. Probe now coming back in to do a little bit more scouting, more harassing. SCVs being forced to come back off the mineral line to shoo away that one probe, as the probe now hanging off down over here. SCV now going to be coming up the ramp. There's not going to be enough time for a stalker. Huck going for the much more conventional build this time, getting that second pylon up. I believe getting that second pylon up before getting that Cybernetic core. Wasn't closely looking at his build order, as we now see the command center coming in from ThorZain. We'll see how exactly Huck is going to respond to this. Huck is most likely, he can either try to put some early pressure down with some additional gateways and chrono boost that warp gate tech, or he can try to set up an expansion of his own. Meanwhile, ThorZain most likely will be setting up additional barracks as well, perhaps 2 more barracks, for a total of 3, after getting that double refinery, as he really needs a lot more production buildings in order to fend off his opponent. However, ThorZain, I believe, did scout out and spot the Nexus that is now warping in, but a Stalker will be here to shut down this scouting SCVs, any more attempts, and now you're going to see that the Stalker is going to move down over here. 3 Marines, more than enough to handle this, though, especially as a bunker will be near completion by the time that Stalker gets down in play. A proxy pylon has been, or a semi-proxy pylon has been set up, but not going to really be able to do anything else unless Huck goes into a 3-gate expand, warping in 2 additional gateways. Stalker now focusing down or trying to disperse damage on top of those Marines, perhaps getting some damage onto an SCV as well. Yes, able to get some damage onto an SCV and some of those Marines, but aside from that, not really able to do very much at all. This one Stalker now going to walk around and now maybe able to get off a free Marine kill. Oh, the Marine able to switch places with the fresh Marine inside. And now this Stalker shields will once again slowly regenerate. We are getting those 3 additional gateways that I mentioned earlier, so Huck may be moving into a 6-gate push. We'll see how many probes he transfers over here to the natural expansion. He is chrono boosting double nexuses in order to get as many probes as possible. It looks like these gateways will be upgraded in just a moment, and then Huck will be able to put down a lot of pressure, as he does have more production buildings than his opponent. The fact that he has warp gate tech hurts it even more, as he'll be able to warp in units along this low ground or even along this high ground here and deploy them straight into the battlefield. ThorZain was supply blocked for just a moment, now sitting at 42 over 46, and ThorZain hasn't really done any serious scouting after this. Because of this, he has not gotten the additional bunkers that he needs. And I believe if Huck just comes in with stalkers and sentries, or zealots and sentries, lays down a couple critical force fields to prevent any repairing on the bunkers will fall, and then so will this natural expansion. Army composition, you see a much larger gas army coming in from Huck. I believe he does, yes, have a lot of sentries. The sentries were warped in first in order to get more energy. We are currently running off of 5 gateways, and now even adding a robotics facility. The SCV did scout out this one proxy pylon over here on the high ground. Now additional stalkers are warping in. This one SCV gets destroyed just in time as more and more stalkers are still being added. 5 sentries. I believe Huck is going to wait until these sentries have perhaps 150 energy before pushing in enough, or 125 energy, enough for a guardian shield and a force field if need be, or 2 force fields onto this bunker. A second bunker has been added by ThorZain, but it is a little bit further away than I would like. Only a range of 6 for Marines, a range of 7 on a Marauder, but the Stalkers can all line up here and shoot at this bunker without this bunker joining in on the fight. Zealots are now warping in as well, and I'm not quite sure why the Zealots aren't warping in down here. That is a rather strange location to deploy your units, as we are now also going into a robotics bay. One Colossus may be just enough to deal a lot of damage to all of these Marines, Marauders, as ThorZain does not yet have a factory. He does have a Ghost Academy, and I believe he will be getting Ghosts in just a moment, but EMP Shockwave not nearly as effective against those Colossi. The sentries, however, may get hit with an EMP Shockwave, denying any force fields and guardian shields. This one proxy pylon looks like it will get taken down in just a moment. Yes, getting taken down by Huck, or Huck losing that to ThorZain. Marines are now repositioning themselves. Stim has already been researched, going to add the other 2 for the trifecta of combat shield and concussive shells. An observer is in the group as well. These 2 ghosts are going to have to deal with some Colossi. I believe, no, a Colossus has not been trained, as a scanner sweep reveals pretty much nothing at all. Huck, all of a sudden, who had a very large army, is going to have to deal with these ghosts, and these ghosts may get that EMP Shockwave down. EMP Shockwave, the force fields do come in. One Ghost does get destroyed. A second EMP Shockwave hitting more units, as the Marines and some SCVs joining in on the fight as well. More force fields are coming in. Snipe onto some Zealots, I believe, as both sides are trying to engage. ThorZain with a much larger army. Probes now coming off the mineral line, and Huck is in trouble. Those EMP Shockwaves, although not perfect, enough to deal a lot of damage, as I believe this is going to be the GG, yes, and Huck losing to Mouse Sports' ThorZain in a best of 3 series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this best of 3 series between Mouse Sports' ThorZain and Evil Genius' Huck here on Metalopolis.